As we wrap up Unit 5, we need to revisit our essential question. That's the EQ. How do we overcome obstacles? If you remember, every story that we read, every video that we watched, everything was always about overcoming obstacles. To begin, our intro video was about Bethany Hamilton, the girl who lost her arm to a shark. Next, our mentor text, Against the Odds. It was the gentleman, the pilot, who landed a plane and saved everyone on board. And then, everyone's favorite, high school teammates carry on. The two guys, where one lost his legs to a train accident and the other was born with a degenerative eye disease. We read Black Sunday, the storm that gave us the Dust Bowl, about the storm, literally, that really helped create and name the Dust Bowl. We read an excerpt from The Grapes of Wrath. We read about people who were losing and leaving and selling everything so they could move and hopefully live a better life. We read The Circuit, that was about a migrant farm working family and their son primarily, who moved all the time. And poor Panchito, once he found his best friend at school, his teacher, who was going to teach him to play the trumpet, he came home that evening to learn that he had to move again. And then finally, how this son of migrant farm workers became an astronaut. Again, this was somebody who overcame poverty and overcame the migrant farm working lifestyle where you had to move and follow the crops to make a living. He did it, and he's a successful person. So now I want you to get out that sheet of paper and something to write with. We're making a list. If you need to pause the video, pause the video. Before we get started, I want to remind you of something we discussed before we wrote our last essay. I want you to hold up your right hand. Everything I know, every belief I have, everything that's true, everything that's not true, every fact, every opinion, every thought for the day, life lessons, sayings, dichos. Dichos is the Spanish word for sayings. That's all your right hand. Now hold up your left hand. All my experience, every place I've been, every step I've taken, everything I've seen, everything I've eaten or smelled or heard, every conversation, every song, every movie, book. That's your left hand. Look at this picture. The left hand, those are all the experiences. Your right hand, all of your beliefs. Now, I want you to lace your fingers together and think about this. Every really good piece of writing has to have something from each hand. And the best ones weave the hands together. Look at these pictures closely. Your experiences are songs you know, fights, cars you've seen, places you've been, movies you've seen, books you've read, places you've been, things you've heard, sports you've played, people you've seen, things you've seen, conversations you've had, memories you have, shopping lists you've made, food you've eaten, food you've smelled, instant message conversations, things you've done, things you've experienced with your senses. That means seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touching. Your beliefs on your right hand, ideas, truths, attitudes, dichos, sayings, things you know, your opinions, true and false, and your thoughts. You each have experiences that are unique to you. Now for our list, I want you to write things that are difficult to accomplish. Pause the video while you do it. I've already taken some time to write my thoughts on things that are difficult to accomplish. Learning something new. Succeeding where you have failed before. Think about all the things that you tried and you failed at it. I'm thinking a lot of the stories that we've read because Hernandez, was that it? He failed 12 times, 11 times at becoming an astronaut before he did it. Writing an essay when you can't connect to the topic. Nobody likes to do that. Being good at sports. Being good at anything is hard. Learning at school when you move around a lot. Going to school when your family needs you to work. Things that most people take for granted when you have a disability. Now let's talk about people who have accomplished difficult things. Again, I'm going to think about the stories that we've read because I already talked about the things that these people have done. So now I'm going to use their names. But I'm going to start with Michael Jordan, known as one of the best basketball players ever, and got kicked off his high school basketball team. Mulan. She fought for her father in his place in a time where women were little more than wives. That was it. They couldn't do more. Merida. She created a big old mess for herself, but she managed to overcome the adversity of having lost the witch that was going to help her change her mom back, and she managed to do it on her own. D'Artagnan and Leroy. Those are the two gentlemen from High School Teammates Carry On. Jose Hernandez, the astronaut from how this son of migrant farm workers became an astronaut. Pretty much everyone in the Grapes of Wrath. They managed to go on living even though it seemed like everything was against them. The people who were buying their things, nature, all of it. Katniss Everdeen. Let us all remember the Hunger Games. This girl accomplished a lot. Peeta Mellark. Between Peeta and Katniss, he may have been the weaker of the two people, but he still managed to survive. Jacob Portman. He was the kid from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. He learned that he had a peculiarity. He learned that his friends were all in danger. He learned that his grandfather wasn't telling lies and making things up. And still, he managed to help and save people. This is my list. I know we all have the same thoughts and pretty much the same knowledge base when it comes to stories that we read together. However, these are books that I know. So I want you to add to your own list things that you know, things that make sense to you. Pause the video and write your list. So we need to talk about the word adversity. The word adversity means when circumstances or situations work against you. Another word, hardship, misfortune, tragedy, trouble, difficulty. Keep this slide in the front of your mind. Add more words to this for yourself. This is a word bank that we're going to use as we write our essay. So we're going to do what we did last time. We're going to start with the check mark here to say that we're writing to inform others. And then I'm going to go through this one with you. And you're going to complete this on your own paper, on your own slide presentation. So our truism, it's our assertion, our problem, our main question is going to go right here. A truism is a statement that is true for most people. And for us, it's a question. What does it mean to overcome adversity? Overcoming adversity means that people can be successful despite the challenges they face. Okay? So that's even our first thing right here. That's the first part of our text structure. What does it mean to overcome adversity? I changed the wording a little bit before I wrote mine. Overcoming adversity means to succeed when circumstances work against you. It's the exact same thing as it was right here, different words. Then, an example from a book, movie, or history. I chose Katniss. Katniss isn't the strongest or most well-trained, but survives anyway. Then I need a different example from a movie or a book or history. This time I chose a movie. You cannot choose 2 books, 2 movies, or 2 histories. You need one from each category. Mulan is a girl fighting in place of her father and saves China. So look, I have one from a book, one from a movie. And then I need to restate my truism about the topic. Circumstances working against you doesn't mean that you will fail. That's it. We just wrote our kernel essay again. Now it's time for you to work on your own.